My father is the most stoic man I believe I've ever met. Former military, Marine Corps, served his country, served it well. And technically speaking, he's my stepfather. Came into my life whenever I was 2. Because my biological father, the dead pussy bitch that he is, he decided he wanted drugs over his own kid. So a real man stepped in and took his place. So going back to my real dad, he was always real quiet. Punched the clock 9 to 5, said maybe 3 words the entire day. And he was off on the weekends unless he was working overtime. But this particular weekend, he was off. And normally he would just sit in the chair, have the old country westerns on, drinking a beer. I believe I was about 10 years old, maybe 11. And he had one of his military photos on the wall. And for some reason, I just go, hey, Daddy, did you ever kill anyone whenever you was in the war? I had never asked him anything about the military. Growing up the way we grew up in the hood, you don't ask questions. That's just not how things work. But this particular day, it was a rare instance where it was just me and him. My other brothers wasn't there. And I was just kind of sitting on the couch watching him watch TV. And I remember I asked him that question. He sat there quietly, as per usual, took a sip, turned his head away from the television, and he just goes, yes, sir! Yes, sir! Oh, my bitch ass heart can't take it. Jesus! Oh! Like the video! Subscribe to the channel! Told you! Watching it all the way! Oh my God! That boy! Oh shit!
God killer. What is it you want from me?
It's about fucking time.
You came to find.
The greatest video game of all time, right here, ladies and gentlemen. So I personally wasn't introduced, or I didn't know anything about God of War up until God of War 3. That was around 2010, 2011. I was still in college, barely. At that time, especially, you see those guys on Twitter, it's like there's no good games out. The gaming industry is in shambles right now, but they only play Madden, NBA 2K, Call of Duty. They're those type of gamers, super casual gamers. Like they game, but they only game those specific types. That was me around this time. I was playing a lot of WWE, SmackDown versus Raw, and SmackDown versus this. So anything that was outside of that realm of video games, for the most part, besides The Last of Us, I didn't see it. But I do remember going into GameStop around this time. We had a local GameStop in the town that I went to college at, and I remember renting God of War. Either I rented it or I bought it, one of the two. But I remember getting it, playing the first hour or two, and I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. You fucking slashing around, jumping and shit. I had a good time with it. Once again, it wasn't what I was used to playing. I kind of stepped outside of my bubble. I was like, oh, this is cool, but it didn't make a lasting impression on me. I thought it was cool. That was it. Then fast forward to around 2017, 2018. It's hard to remember after you get so old. My best friend Trey, at that time, he was freaking out about 2 video games. It was one, Red Dead Redemption 2. He was like, hey, I don't know if you remember the old Red Dead games. Look at this. He was sending me video clips. Like, listen, you can see the footsteps in the snow. You have to take care of your horse. The horse actually that heart actually has a dick. Like, guys. So he was freaking about that. Then also, it was this other game he was saying, this God of War game. He said, I don't know if you play like the original, blah, blah, blah. I was like, dude, of course not. We only played, I think he sent me like an image or something. It didn't really ring a bell. Especially in God of War 3, that Kratos and this Kratos looked differently because he had the beard and shit. So it didn't register to me. But he was explaining to me like, hey, how The Last of Us, you have the cut scenes and, it fades to black. This game doesn't have any cuts. It's one camera shot. And I didn't really understand what the fuck he was talking about. The game starts and the gameplay in the cutscenes is one thing, one camera, that's it. If he's just hype about a game, I'm going to get him. So that's what I did with Red Dead Redemption 2, which was amazing, of course. And of course, that's what I did with God of War. But also around this time, I had just recently became a brand new father. And I was in Boston for work. And when I say I was in Boston for like almost a year. There was a gas line explosion in the Merrimack Valley. And that 1 month turned into 3 months. 3 months turned into 6 months. 6 months turned into... Point is, I was away and I was working. Didn't really have a lot of time to game. But of course, I came home and flew out, my family, monthly at that point in time because it was paying me well. But once I finally did get back home, then it was time for me to catch up on some games that I needed to play. And I told myself, you know what? When I get home, I'm going to give that God of War game a chance that Trey keeps talking about. Because he was actually playing it, telling me, oh my God, it's fucking crazy. This is insane. So then in 2019, I finally get home. So of course, now I'm home. I got this growing boy who's around the same age as Trace at this time, like 6, 7 years old. I've been gone a while. I'm getting back used to him. He's getting back used to me. I'm so much like my father. You know, I'm grumpy. I don't really have the patience for like the kid shit. I'm very short. I'm very moody. And again, I'm adjusted to being back home. So it was very difficult, to be honest, when you're staying in a hotel room for damn near a year and you just doing the FaceTime and the phone calls versus to being there every day was the dad. All my fathers and mothers, you know what I mean. So in order to pass some time, I didn't have shit else to do. I was home. I made a shitload of money. I said, let me go buy this God of War game. And this is before YouTube, before anything. So all I had was just a big screen TV, no gaming chair on the couch. I mean, just to pure vibes. I went and bought the God of War game and I started playing it. And within the first 15 minutes, I was like, oh shit, this is different. And honestly, during that time, there was a lot of friction between me and, you know, my wife-to-be and my son because they had their routine of just them, and now grumpy old dad is back in the mix. It was the first time I was able to see myself by playing God of War 2018, how Kratos was to Atreus.
Yes, no, over here, in the direction of deer. Don't fire until I tell you to fire.
Like, it was like looking in a fucking mirror. I remember my wife's like sitting down on the couch, like behind me as I was playing. She never really paid much attention, but this one looked so graphically good. She was like, oh, that's a video game? It was one of the scenes when Atreus and Kratos was fighting, and she was watching that, and she was just kind of looking like, wow, this is exactly what you need to be playing right now because that's you. Which is odd because at that time, I thought Kratos was a dick. You know, looking at it, I was like, this guy's a fucking asshole, bro. And with her telling me that that's basically me, it just all started connecting. So once I kept playing, man, and I kept connected with the game, like I was in. So as Kratos got better as a father in the course of that game, I mean, I would cut the game off and I will now actively try to be better just from playing the game. I can't remember if you got your blades or not before you fought the first Valkyrie. I can't remember, but I do know is I beat the first Valkyrie and I was so excited when I beat it because they had been watching me trying to beat this thing. And right when I beat it, they both was in the living room. When I finally beat the first Valkyrie, they both stood up and started cheering like, yeah, go dad. And she was like, yeah, you did it. This is just us as a family. And that memory sticks so close to me. It's unbelievable because now she don't give a shit about my gaming. But at that time before YouTube, you know, just seeing me finally happy because I was so lost and confused once I got back home because it was a lot of internal shit going on. And we were just so like just trying to get back together as a family. And God of War basically brought us together again as a family and made me better. Like it just really brought us together because it was kind of like a lot of turmoil essentially at that time, you know. You're cruel, you're arrogant, misguided.
And selfish. But you are more than that.
But you are more than that. And you see me just cry. That's why those words hit so hard. It's from everything that I just covered. From my personal life, from the way I began with the series, to just me having my internal shit, as a lot of you have as well, saying, you are more than that. And I said I needed to hear that. I am more than that. And so are you.
I believe I would like to sit here for a while.